Okay, because your mechanics are your weakest point right now by far, there's a certain base level that we need to get. And here's a couple things that I'm going to go over in the VOD review for you. I'm going to go over cover usage and mechanics, a lot of focus on those. But here's some really quick drills that you'll be able to use in order to best start slow and develop those mechanic skills, because you have a lot of things going for you, which I'll cover in the next part of this. But you really need to be hitting more shots. And again, we'll go over that in a little bit. All right, because you're Magneto main, I'm just going to give you like 2 quick exercises, maybe 3, to work on for your mechanics. And I would recommend doing these, for no more than 10 minutes. But every time you log in, at least 3 or 4 minutes to practice this, and you're going to notice how much easier your life is going to get when you're hitting these shots. So these are the settings I used. I just changed it to Punisher because he's a more forgiving target, and we can always work down. But what we want to build is a good habit that we can do repeatedly, and we want to be consistent and accurate with what we're doing. And there's a saying, it's called slow is smooth, smooth is fast. Speed and reaction comes with time. So we want to practice well to make those things easier for us. So, a couple things about Magneto. He cannot headshot. Aiming for the head does not matter, right? So we don't need to do that. Both of our attacks are projectile, which means it's actually drawing a line from Magneto to where it's actually throwing something in the environment towards them that has travel time. It doesn't get there instantly, right? So we need to be able to not only hit our targets, but aim in front of them, right? And what we want to do here, very simply, just for one of these, is we go through and we shoot these bots, and we just practice moving it onto the target, right? We just want to be on the target. And then we want to prioritize being on target more than speed. We don't want to overshoot and then correct. We would rather go slow and get onto the target than undershoot or overshoot because we're going too fast. This is about consistency. We're building good hand-eye coordination here, right? So, one more time. What it should look like for you is probably boop, boop, boop. Your sensitivities and your mouse motions and things didn't seem too erratic, so it looks like you can pilot the character. Your sensitivity isn't too high, and I overshot that and had to correct it there. But eventually, you'll get faster and faster, right? And there's plenty of aim guides afterwards. Always tap, never hold it. I'm playing in a wrist brace right now, so I can't move my fingers or my wrist. So aiming is a little rough. I'm on double my normal sensitivity, right? So do that slowly so that we can be consistent. Now, we're going to still use the Punisher. We're going to turn it on dynamic to have them move, and we're going to just put one of them because we only want to focus on one, and we'll leave the timer. That way we can have like an objective measurement. We'll start this, and all we're going to do now is, for now, we're just going to try to hit him. Let's stand about this far away, because we don't want to be too close, because then we have to move all over the place, but we don't want to be too far because the projectile has travel speed, right? So we want to look for him and then try to hit him, because we have to aim in front of them. We want to get used to how far in front of them we have to aim. This is a good engagement distance to practice, because this is an engagement distance you're going to find yourself in a lot with Magneto, is something like this. So we want to see where we can like be in and how consistent we can be here. Once you're all the way back here, this becomes more spammy because they can actually move, and if they change directions, they're probably going to dodge it, right? So that's more prediction and guessing. See, he can move, and I can't hit him because the projectile has to travel so far, right? So I have to anticipate where he's going to be. But here, I can actually hit him almost guaranteed, because he physically can't change directions or move fast enough if I'm aiming where he's going to be. And just try this, right? Be very calm and deliberate so you can get a feel for where the projectile is going to hit.
Disappointing.
Right? And like I said, just do like 2 or 3 rounds of this if that's all you can take. That's fine. Come in here, do the first exercise, and then do 2 or 3 rounds of this, right? The first one's to get our mouse to go where we want it, and then this one is to like make sure that we're learning how fast our projectile goes. And see, as I speed up, I start missing. I was nailing him every time there, right? Even with a wrist brace on, I was like, as soon as I sped up, I started whiffing, right? So what's better is to make sure you're hitting those shots, okay? I would keep it on one guy so you're not distracted, so you're actually paying attention to what's happening, right? Yeah, and start with those 2 things, and then there's things you can grow from here, but learn where that projectile is going, where it's going to be, and try to keep it on target. I have a really bad Counter-Strike habit of going off target, but try to keep it on target, and then put it where your target's going to be, okay? Alright, this is going to be a hopefully quick VOD review for Batman and Dick Grayson, the dynamic duo. Unfortunately, that's DC, bro. This is Marvel. No. Crossover would be cool, but we're going to take a look at some Magneto gameplay here. I've seen you've played quite a few rounds of Magneto, as your profile indicates, and I've noticed a couple good things. Right. And one of the first good things is you don't completely tunnel vision on what you're doing. Which is something that's super hard for players to break away from. And you often do notice that there are better, higher priority targets for you to deal with. So good on you. You also are aware of your health bar, at least on a base level, and you're not afraid to back up a little bit when you feel like you're not getting the support you need. So that's great. The big thing that is holding you back at this point is mechanics, and it's odd to say that because usually mechanics is like lower on the list for people, but you're just missing too many shots and you're not doing enough damage. You don't get your first ultimate here fully charged up until 4.5 minutes in, right? They've already gone through an entire round of ultimates, right? They've had theirs for like the last 2 minutes, which they could have used if they wanted to, right? So it's one of your core problems is going to be you're not doing enough damage because you're just not hitting enough shots. So the first thing for you to see improvement is you're just going to have to get more dedicated aim practice in if you want to improve, because you can't miss this many shots on targets that are not moving super aggressively, right? It's like here. Yeah, we don't necessarily need to throw that out. Fine cooldown management. We're not going to nitpick that kind of stuff too much at this point. But, you know, we got a little bit of splash, but we're not really shooting at anything there, probably because we're distracted by the Angela. But even with Angela here, we can be aware, but pressuring her, right? The boop there would have been great, but you see, we've hit 0 shots, and we've hit 0 direct shots, and we fired 10 times. We only have 7% of our ult charge. That's not super great, right? We're moving back to cover. This is fine. It's okay that we don't necessarily know everything that's going on around us. That comes with a little more time. But boom, we miss. Boom, we miss. Boom, we miss. See, we hit maybe 1 in 5 shots there, right? And I wasn't sure if it was a direct or splash. I do like the fact that we have looked behind us. I know it might have just been because you're retreating, and I know that this fight behind you has been going on for a minute, but you did look around, back behind your team. You noticed you were taking damage. You were backing up. That's great. Okay, and I'm not going to belabor the point, but we're missing like every shot here, right? Right. So we still have not hit a shot. So I'm not going to bemoan this point here, but that would be the first thing to work on. You have to hit more shots than this. These targets aren't moving very erratically, and what that's going to come down to is a little bit of time in the practice range, and maybe I'll just show some quick notes for you on how to start with that, okay? The second thing is we are playing a little bit out of cover. Well, we're playing a lot out of cover, but For your rank, this is pretty expected because everybody's playing out of cover, like all the time, right? All of these people are out of cover, right? So what does it mean to be playing cover? As a tank, I need to make sure that at any point in time, if I'm under threat, I can hide behind a wall. A wall is a shield with infinite hit points. The same with a floor, because this is one of the multiple reasons that high ground is good. Say I'm standing here, and this is my view. When I'm standing here, if I don't like what's happening, I can back up, and that person can no longer see me. The floor is a wall, quote unquote, right? The floor is my defense here. And you'll notice that a lot of these, when you really get into like level design and stuff, you'll notice a lot of this is managed by where they put walls, because they don't want you to be able to back straight up here. That's why this wall is here. There's a reason for almost every wall, pillar, hard cover that doesn't break, cover that does, right? They don't want me to hold this easily, right? So they put a wall here. So they want me, if I need to fall back, I need to be all the way back here, which opens me up to this stuff, right? So a floor in the short version can be a wall, and you can come up here and you can shoot down at them, for example, if you were on high ground. For you here, the cart counts as cover. Not in this direct situation, because your team is kind of falling back and on low health. This is cover, right? And you'll notice how it kind of loops around this way, right? So your cover naturally on this point is kind of like this, because it kind of guides you in this direction until you get to here, and then it flips on you. And there's reasons why this is important, but we won't get into that. That's outside the scope of what we're working on with you. But there's reasons for that. So generally on default here at your rank, you're going to hold down here, and you guys are going to shoot at each other. I love the fact that you are shooting at the high value targets, even when there's a tank in front of you. You switch to them. And I love the fact that you are aware of your hit points, right? Magneto against a squishy target like this, like Emma or Hawkeye here, or sorry, Luna or Hawkeye here, you can 3-shot them if you directly hit them. You can body right click if it's a full charge right click, and you will actually just eliminate them, right? So that's what makes Magneto really scary, is he can output a ton of damage really quickly from a decent range. And then what makes Magneto useful and why he's played as a catch-all tank is his shield, for its duration, can absorb infinite amount of damage. His bubble can save himself or other people from very powerful abilities on demand. And his ultimate is really, really, really good. So if we're going to walk these people down with our penny, that's fine. But we need to hit the shots. You guys could have killed her, right? But I'm not confident that even if Penny netted them, we'd hit him. I love the fact that I cannot stress how good it is that you're checking back here to be aware, right? Yeah, I know we missed the divers earlier because we didn't hear the audio cues. If you're not wearing headphones, if you're listening to music, I suggest you either reconsider that, or if you are wearing headphones and listening to music, you may consider not listening to music, or at very least turning it very, very far down, because you should have heard the people come in behind you, but you didn't, and the audio in this game is very important. So, this is fine, this is fine, this is not fine. Why is this not fine? You're out of cover, you have like a bunch of people looking at you, right? All 4 of these people can now shoot you in the back, and you have nothing to do about it, right? So even if they get lucky, you should be taking a lot of damage, right? These guys at this point, he could have hooked you in a higher ranked lobby. He would have hooked you. Hawkeye would have like drilled into your face, and you would probably just be dead here, just flat out dead for this. And because you're over here chasing her, right? And your back is turned. Your poor Penny is just getting obliterated by them because they see a big fat target. Now again, that's okay, because in your rank, you're going to notice that this will change as you get a little bit higher. But we had to rotate in front of the entire enemy team, so it was pretty predictable that you were going to get eliminated there. And there's not anything your supports or anybody can do about that. Nobody can heal out-heal the damage between a Bucky, Cloak and Dagger amp. Luna does actually a lot of damage. and a Hawkeye, you're just going to explode. I don't care what character you're on, right? So that's the cover usage. We want to go back to cover usage. So we're gonna speed up here. Okay, this is very difficult, a difficult choice for you to make, and we need to ask ourselves, can we do anything about this yet? And the answer is no, right? Because even if your Jeff's healing his little Jeffy heart out, right, this is going to be rough because you have to walk in front of all of these people. So they've already won the fight, and when you win a fight, you get to push the cart, right? So depending on where you win the fight and how cleanly, your reward is you get to push it 20 meters, 30 meters, 10 meters, right? That's your reward. So their reward for winning the fight that they did when the cart was here and you guys were kind of dying one by one, staggering, is they get to push the cart probably up to here before you guys can get a chance to fight over it. And that's if your supports don't die. You would get maybe one more clean fight on these guys. So on this, because we see that they're all here and that our supports are kind of in a rough way, walking here is really not allowed. They're not allowing us to do that. So you would have to come contest this and then contest the point. Because going here, you don't have any assistance from your team. All right, so what should we do here? We should check our team. Okay, who's alive? We can hit tab. We can look around, look behind us. Okay, my supports are over here. I know the card is over here. I have my Psylocke with me. Okay, so that would make it a 4v6, right? Because our Penny just died. I know our Hela's going to get back, but it's not going to be in time to fight. So I'm fighting a 4v6. So what's my plan to fight a 4v6? Well, I need to live as long as possible to stall the cart, right? And it's going to be rough if you want to do that because there's 6 of them, right? So we should go this way here and contest the cart there. And if we don't believe we can, we die on the point if our team has suffered casualties, which they have. So we would die here just to burn seconds off the clock, because likely we're going to die anyways, and there's not much we can do about it. Okay. Knowing when to lose fights is also important on tanks, and you'll learn with experience when that's the case. Okay, this is fine, right? Nope, we should have bubbled our Jeffrey. You would have saved Jeffrey there if you would have bubbled him. So be aware of that. And this is what I continue to tell new players who are obsessed with peeling. This is the example right here. When you turn your back to deal with this, this is not your problem. Why? This is a significantly larger problem. Because if you turn your back, at best, let's say you even eliminate Emma, which is very unlikely that you're going to do anything to her, these people still get to shoot you. These people are going to do more damage, they're going to do more healing than Emma can do all by herself, right? But if you block off their healing, if you block off their damage, you're actually doing more for your invisible woman here than you do if you turn around. Because if she starts getting healed at all, if Emma starts getting healed at all, you're never going to kill her. So your job here, after Jeffrey died, is to come back to here, try to do damage, try to keep them kind of zoned, use your shield, kind of get back and keep getting back. And these people should be dealing with this. But the second that you turned around, your fate was sealed, right? Your fate was sealed because they get to do what they want. Now, you guys are starting to stagger a little bit, but your Wolverine and your Jeff are... your team is actually stabilizing pretty well. So if you'd been alive just a little bit longer, there's a chance that you actually didn't die there. Well, happens. That's fine. We all goof. Okay, perfect. Now we just talked about what counts as cover. This counts as cover. This counts as cover, right? Because even though I'm Magneto and I'm huge and I can still get shot, it's harder to shoot my hugeness because my hugeness is hiding behind Herbie here. So when we play this, we want to access those easy targets in the back, and we want to make sure that we're managing our life. So we want to be doing as much damage as possible while receiving as little damage as possible, right? So we need to know that she's going to do that, This is fine because she did it in a way that you're not going to be exposed to tons and tons of follow-up damage, right? The choke itself does no damage. It does like 5 damage or something. What kills you is the follow-up from their team, or her kicking you into a wall and her auto attacks. Her auto attacks in Diamond hit like trains, and her kick does some 100 and some damage as she kicks you into a wall. That's where the damage comes from. So either her team is your CC'd, or getting kicked into the wall and auto attacked. So we need to be aware of when Emma has Diamond, so we are prepared to get choke slammed and not choke slammed into the entirety of the enemy team. This is great that you're backing up here. Cool, but we're missing shots, right? This is fine. Back up, back up, back up. This is a little too aggro because your team isn't really supporting you, and they have that Hawkeye and just your purple, so you could take a boatload of damage right now. We also don't exactly know what's going on behind us, right? I believe we probably lost track of these people. So in other scenarios, if your Wolverine just goes in here, you could go into and just walk on these people and try to get them with your Wolverine, right? That would be fine. But without him going in, this is a little risky. And what happened here is we didn't wait long enough for it to charge. I'm not an expert on Magneto, but we do need to wait for it to charge up. And you see this little meter in the bottom center? This is absorbing projectiles from the enemy team, and it adds additional damage. But you also get damage based on the time that your ultimate is charging. I believe to kill Cloak and Dagger, you, without hardly any charge, you need to get it to at least like 75 to 80%. I don't know the exact damage breakpoint off the top of my head, but you need to do a direct hit with at least like 70 damage if you don't have any additional charge on it. So when people shoot this, they also charge up your ultimate, and there's an audio cue for when it's filling up, and if it overfills, it breaks and you can't throw it. And if they fill it to like half and you've gotten it charged to half, you will most likely just get the elimination on them. You hit them with it, which is great, by the way. You did. There just wasn't enough oomph there to do anything with that ultimate, which is unlucky. But now she's not your problem, right? You tried your play. You don't got her. She's going to be in her ultimate. She is no longer your problem because there's 0 ways that you are going to eliminate her, right? So what do you do now? Well, you have to prevent the enemy team from eliminating your team while this ult is down on the ground, right? Which means I need to make sure that this guy can't free shoot to get lucky. I need to make sure she can't shoot to get lucky in CC. I need to make sure she can't easily walk in and squish my team, right? Because these two are now not really your problem. She's going to have a hard time killing Jeff because of the matchup, as long as Jeff is a little bit slippery, right? But she's in high risk right now, so that's why you need to be at this corner, and you need to be helping your Wolverine out in this case, right? So you're never going to kill her, so you need to put the pressure on somebody that you're actually going to do something to. And that's going to be these guys getting poked out, right? Cool. You were aware you were taking damage, but you chickened out and graded a little bit. That's fine. You could have gone back into cover. All right. So, like I said, I'm going to keep this pretty short because one of your main issues is going to be using cover more tightly, making sure you're dealing with the things you can actually impact, which is generally the most dangerous things, which is generally the enemy's midline, or pressuring their supports in the back line. Those are things you can do. You can't really do much other than throw a bubble to somebody who needs help down here without floating down there. And if you do, you turn your back on the important things, right? So I guess we'll take, I haven't previewed this far. I guess we'll take a look at one of your, the first part of the attack here to see what you guys do. All right. Okay, we're aware. We saw that. Nice bubble. Perfect, perfect. We love to see it. Perfect bubble. We love to see it. Perfect. We're harassing that guy. That's good. Our team should be able to take cover from these people, and these are the immediate threats, right? These need to not be able to walk on our squishies, and he needs to not have free reign to just to poke out people, right? We also have an Emma now. Going to help us manage this a little bit. Perfect. But we haven't hit a shot. I don't think we've hit a direct shot on any target yet. One direct shot. Whiff, whiff, whiff. I believe we might be holding down the button too. Make sure you click. We heard Emma behind us, right? That's that audio cue. And we know she exists, right? But Emma is right behind us. So we probably need to look and check on that and see what's happening, because if she lands this, well, even if she doesn't, she murders Psylocke. Even if she whiffs the grab, because she just kicks her in the wall and she dies. Ooh, she slid across the wall. Oh, unlucky. Now that this is getting some attention, in this instance, it would be okay to turn because she is out of position. These two are out of position because their team can't help them. They can't help them. You've got like 5 seconds of personal time with Emma and Angela here where you can turn around and help them. And after, hopefully, you make them bugger off, you can immediately shift your focus back to the people who tried to walk up on you, right? And now we need to get out. Love that you're managing your hit points. You got the second you got healed up, you didn't need to fall so far back. Yet again, to your wall with infinite health. It's fine. We're walking. Yes, yes, got it. I want you to see the Luna now. Luna went here. Just kill her, win the fight. If you kill her, you guys win the fight. I don't care who's back here. You're gonna win it because that means you get to push the cart for free, right? And we know that your team is behind you because you're getting heals and seeing the damage coming. Cool. You're just not going to kill Angela as easily, right? Perfect. Didn't need the bubble, but that's fine. I'd rather be safe than sorry at this point. Where you're at. Perfect. You obliterated him. Good shots. All right. Now, they have a Black Panther. Oh, how fun. How fun. Okay. For Black Panther, you actually do have some tools to assist your team. You can bubble them when he goes in on them, and you can boop him to displace him so that his aim is disrupted in one way or another. But you have to be able to hit those shots on him, right? But it's good that you turned around. Magneto is one of the tanks that can kind of deal with him, right? You're not going to kill her. You need to be shooting to get energy. You can kill her. She's not in the ultimate, right? You can poke her down and get some damage in here. But unless your Emma gets a grab on her and kicks her out of the ultimate, very unlikely to eliminate her at this rank. Perfect. Love it. See, like I said, your target priority is good. If you could hit 10% more shots, you'd be carrying this lobby, right? You would absolutely be carrying the lobby, right? He would have died one more shot ago. What does that mean? That means she would have been shot one time faster. It means maybe you could have shot the Ankh one time faster and it didn't cleave into you, right? It would mean you could have gotten one more shot on them because you did that one shot, because you hit one more shot. Now you get all of these opportunities. But because you missed shots, you get less opportunities. Here, we move up to the corner because we especially want to pressure this guy. This guy is now the most important person to pressure. It's not even her. At this rank, they're going to get distracted. And your team is not going to deal with the Moon Knight. The Moon Knight will kill your entire team. You have health. Your magic's in front of you. Your DPS should almost never be in front of you, especially if it's like a magic and you're in this situation where everybody is as close as they are. You should be right here with her. This is now your #1 priority, is to make sure that can't play the game. Yup. Shield was late, but that's fine. Perfect. And he died. Perfect. If we were hitting these shots, you could have killed her there. You had like 4 or 5 times to try to hit her and a right click. You could have actually done significant damage. Maybe you force this out 3 seconds sooner. 3 seconds doesn't sound like a lot, but it's an actual eternity. Now, she's ulting. There's no kill potential here. We know the bad guys are coming back. We've pushed up here. The objective is moving. This is the point. This is how we win. Cool. Let's chill out. Let's chill out right here and hold this corner because there's nothing we're going to do down here. We have succeeded in gaining all of this space, quote unquote. Our team can now operate safely all the way up to here. They can operate safely here, right? Over here, because we have now owned this area. It is space that we own, and this is what it means by taking space. We are a walking wall that they have to move past to do things, and this is tanking, right? Okay, second you get blinded, you need to be respectful. It's a 28% damage amplification for like 3 or 4 seconds. We heard that. I love that we heard that. This is our team feeding, but we need to feed with them, right? We cannot be at the end of the line just because we backed up. You could be playing here, or when this reconstructs, here, I think the staircase goes on the other side. But we cannot play here. Everybody is going to die. We need to be here. We need to be that wall. We need to be that problem. Our wall has now given up that space that we took. Emma is now holding, she is now the wall, but if you see that, she's behind 2 of our squishy people, right? And soon magic will go in, right? We can shield off this. They don't have any damage threats other than the Bucky that are actually going to delete us. So we need to be in the front here. We need to not be afraid. We've got our shield, we've got our bubble, and we've got our hit points. All of those are what make a tank really good. Additionally, we also have our ultimate, which makes us CC immune. So if we really don't want to get CC'd, we can use our bubble, and then we can use our shield, and then we can use our ultimate. And then even if she's getting the people behind us, we've used our ultimate, which is going to absorb any projectiles. So unless Emma's ult is the thing killing them, then they're probably going to be fine. And then we can pitch it into the back line. Maybe get her, right? Right? She's a vulnerable soft target. Maybe get her. Right? So that's what we would want to do here. We don't want to be back here because we should care less. Like, we are behind. This is throwing. You're just actually trolling right now, right? If you were up here, the second you hear magic ultimate, what I would want you to do is just walk right into them. Go with her. Now they've got 2 really big problems, right? But what's going to happen here is your magic is going to let it rip, and she's going to be the only person to go in. And she's either going to pop off or explode, right? And she didn't get anything. Why? Because she was scared. She was scared because she didn't have her buddies, right? Cool. They're blowing a bunch of ults. Some fights are going to lose on what's called ult economy. And ult economy is just when you have a better ultimate situation to win that fight than the enemy team does. You guys will likely win the next fight because you will have both of your support ultis, or at minimum one of them, and you have Emma and Magneto ultimate. They will have no ultis except for Bucky. Yours can deal with Bucky's ultimate. Emma's can deal with Bucky's ultimate. Cloak and Daggers can deal with Bucky's ultimate. And these are really powerful abilities, so you just win because of that. Ult tracking is a skill that you will want to work on in the future. This is fine. I don't mind this too much because there's not too many immediate threats. Now you need to walk. You need to walk all the way up to that choke point. All the way up. Yep. Keep going. Help her out. Yeah, get in his face. Get in his face. You need to be in his face. And now we also need to be in his face. We cannot let him do this. We can absolutely not let him do this because he will get lucky and he's either going to kill the magic or one of our supports or both at the exact same time, right? Okay, so we use a support ult. We didn't need to. But I'm okay with it because like they're using it, and at this rank sometimes that doesn't happen, right? Sure, poke her out, but don't walk in front of her team as you're doing it. And then the second your team swings on her, you need to make a decision: am I going to zone these people out, cutting off her support and her healing, or am I going to go make sure that we deal with this, right? So the cart is pushing. So we don't need to be overly aggressive. Now, we do need to remember she's here, right? We can't go ego duel these 2 people. We can hold this corner, but we need to look behind us. This is feeding. We knew she was there. Our team can't see us. Their team can see us. We would have been okay to come maybe here as long as we were sure we weren't going to let Bucky hook us with either our shield or our bubble. This is feeding because now you're out of cover and they're just going to shoot the hell out of you, right? But if we were here, we're zoning these people, and now Emma doesn't have any help, and our entire team is now in the situation that you're in, right? She's going to get all these people. She doesn't have diamond, and she's going to take a boatload of damage and likely die. And after you've pushed these people back, then we can turn on this, right? And it's not bad, I guess, in an advanced way, getting her might be worth it, because you spawn right here, and they spawn way over there. It's a really long walk, and without a support, they're basically guaranteed to start losing the fight. But That was way too much on your part, and you should have probably bubbled that. But that's fine. We're learning. Okay, your damage and your other tank are in front of you. Why are we back here? Right? Push up to here. Push up to here. We need to be aggressive. As a tank, it's about calculated aggression and then knowing when to go forward and take area from them, space, and when to walk backwards and give it to them. And it's on how much health you have, how many teammates you have, how much damage they can do, and where they're at. So right now, my team is in. I need to be in also. I need to be helping them. I need to be up here with them in this Bucky's face, but we've fallen back too far. Okay, and a lot of lower ranked tank players do this. You need to be in that face right there, right there. Closer, closer, closer. You need to be using this as your cover, and if you think Emma's about to chokeslam you, you walk right here. That way if she does chokeslam you and kick you, you're not getting shot while she's doing it, right? And then you have your bubble and your cooldowns to stop from dying, but you need to be right here so they have as few opportunities to get your team randomly as possible, because we know our team's full of feeders. Everyone's team is full of feeders. So what do? We try to make it really hard for them to feed. This is very dangerous adjacent, but we do have a support. We do have our co-tank, but we know there's a fight going on here, right? So we needed to make a decision. Do we walk in and join this fight, or do we push them back, right, and then join this fight? Either way, we probably need to be involved in that fight right now, because this is what's going to happen, right? We're too late on this fight. People behind us are going to get done, and we basically surrounded ourselves by people that can shoot at us by walking too far forwards, right? So we would want to go here. All right, so to summarize things to work on offenses, we want to leapfrog when we have an advantage. We want to make sure the entire enemy team can't see us at one point. We want to make sure at all times, as often as possible, we have a wall to hide behind as we move forwards, or the cart, to limit the amount of exposure we have so we can manage how much damage we're taking. Okay? It's amazing that you are aware that you're taking damage and mindful of needing to back up. Now on offense, it's about when I can walk forwards, right? You want to walk forwards when they're backed up. When they're backing up, you walk forwards, right? When they have an advantage, you walk backwards. When you have an advantage, you walk forwards. But you should never have your magic standing in front of you in a main corridor, or your supports as Magneto. You need to be holding the front line, right? Like I said, you can use your bubble and your boop to peel, but you need to be holding the front line. The front line was actually over here this time, because it got weird. And then the building reconstructed, got even weirder. That's fine. I hope that helps, and yeah, good luck